Hey y'all, it's Cena, and today I'm going to show you a seamless, versatile sewing on my client Liz, who, as you can see, has a lot of hair. I don't know what it is with me and these clients with all this hair, but I'm always stuck with the clients with a crap load of hair, but it's all right. I love it. All right, so first things first is you want to section off your client's hair however they want to wear their sewing, whether it's a middle part or a side part. In this particular case, Liz is wearing a side part. We're going to go ahead and section her off around the perimeter of her hair, of her head. You don't want to leave out too much, and you definitely don't want to leave out too little. The amount that you leave out, you just got to use your own discretion. You want to leave out enough to cover the tracks, but you don't want to leave out so much to where the sewing becomes a hassle. As you can see, I'm doing it on the other side as well. So I'm leaving the entire perimeter out, including the leave out, which will be a side part. Okay, so now that her leave out is braided down, this step is importante. It's so important. This next step I'm about to tell y'all. I'm going to do a small tiny braid on each side of her head at the very top where her leave out. The closer you can get the track to the leave out, the better. So obviously, in order to get the track close to the leave out, you need a small braid up there. You don't want your braids big, fat, and bulky, because guess what? If your braids big, fat, and bulky, your sewing ain't gonna be big, fat, and bulky. So we don't want that. You won't really get to see the braid from this angle, so I'm gonna go ahead and speed through this little part, and then I'm gonna show you the braid on the other side. That way we have a better angle. All right, so here we go. We're on the other side. I'm sectioning off that small little section right at the top. I'm just going to do a small braid going straight back, but only straight back to leave out, not straight back to the back of the head, but straight back, but the size of the leave out. I really, really hope this makes sense. One thing I want y'all to be mindful of, you want your braids, no matter what, to be neat, and you want them to be taut. Taut, we use that word in the shop. It's not too tight, but it's sturdy. So you want your braids to be sturdy, you want them to be taut, but at the same time you don't want to kill your clients, because that's just not healthy. Clients, their sewing should never hurt to the point where they need aspirin or whatnot. We do have our dramatic clients, but they should never feel like they about to die. Right here, I'm sectioning her off to do another braid. This one is going to be around the perimeter. It's going to start at the top of the first braid that I made, and then it's going to go through the sides and to the back around the perimeter. Man, y'all, I really hope this video just makes sense. I've always been real hesitant on making a video like this because it's just kind of hard to explain this, but you just gotta watch it. Definitely, this sewing is definitely not for beginners. If you are a beginner, you gotta just first learn how to sew, get your foundation right, then start trying to do the seamless. But this is for people that do sewings. You know the basics. This who this video for. All right, so another importante step, or braid. So aside from your first two braids right there at the top, your perimeter braids are your next two most important braids. No matter what you do, I don't care how tired you are, how many hours you've been on your feet, these braids right here, you can't slack off, because your whole sewing gonna be messed up. So this braid, your perimeter braid, you want to make sure it's, once again, not too big, not too small. I don't care if you put 4 big braids in the middle of your client hair. Well, I do care, but it ain't my client. I wouldn't do that. But you know, if it's just one of those days and you decide to do that, don't slack off on your parameter braids and your 2 braids at the top. So your parameter braid for any sew-in, not even just a seamless, whether it's a traditional, I don't care what it is, the braids that's right at the front of their head, it should always be nice, neat, and small, because that's where that last track, that's where the track, the end of the track is going to sit. And that's what's going to determine how well their hair is going to be able to cover that track. So if the braid is big and fat right there, then when they pull their hair back on top of it, it ain't nothing they can do, sis. Like, the braid already fucked up. The sew-in is fucked up. Excuse my language, y'all. I curse. I've been holding it back all these videos, but this me. But, you know, just make sure y'all don't slack off on your parameter braids. All right, so now that I've given y'all most importante steps, let me stop saying that. Now that I have given y'all most important steps when it comes to your foundation, and just go ahead and just continue to braid her hair, just taking everything around and around and around when it comes to her braids. Woo, child, look at that foundation. Her braid down is complete, y'all. The foundation, once again, is so important. As you can see right now, I'm just crocheting the loose ends underneath her braids. The reason why I do this is because, once again, for me, flat is super duper important. And I find that when you sew the braid, like the loose ends on top of the braids, it just gives you an unnecessary extra bulk that, you know, you don't need. If you can prevent it, I'm gonna prevent it. All right, y'all, so please forgive me. Somehow, some way, my camera wasn't recording the first track, but pretty much that first track, you want to make sure it's underneath the braid. I'm gonna show y'all the step again right here, but I'm so sad that my camera didn't catch the first track, because you want it underneath the braid. So here's the second track that I'm doing. I do single the first row. Like, for some of us, I know we like to double the weft sometimes, but with the seamless, like your first couple of rows, it's kind of hard to double it and get it seamless at the same time. But here is the trick. Here's the secret right here. You have to tuck them tracks underneath those braids. And the way that I'm sewing, I'm going under. Like, normally throughout the sew-in, I'll sew over, but for me, this is what works for me. If you can figure out a way of tucking the track under the braid while still sewing over, by all means, sis, do it. But for me, I go under. Like, I thread the needle under, and then I use like that double loop method. But like, I just make sure, like, for this part, I go real slow. I take my time, and I make sure that I'm tucking that track underneath the braid. That's how you hide that braid. That's the secret right there. You just tuck the tracks underneath that braid. And then you just want to continue the process all the way up to like the corner. Well, you'll see what I'm talking about. So the first track, I just kind of started at the bottom, but that second track, I just bring it all the way up. Because with the seamless, you don't want to keep going back and forth on the sides, because it won't be as seamless if you do it that way. Just bring that one track all the way up, and then just go back and forth when you're like kind of at the top. Whew, y'all, I hope this makes sense. I really do. All right, check me out now. I'm just checking to see how, look at that. No braid, no exposure. No braid, no case, y'all. No braid, no case. So, that, you want to check your work. When I'm doing a seamless sewing, even though I've done it a million times, I still, after, a track or two, I'll check, make sure I'm on track. Now, the next important part is when you fold in that track right there at the top. Make sure, sis, like, press that thing, like, smush it, like, press the track, make sure it's nice and flat, and then, you sew it. But the biggest thing is you gotta, like, press down on it, make sure it's nice and flat, and then do your stitches really close together when you're at that fold. Like, on a fold, I'll probably like stitch 4 times over that fold just to kind of make sure that it's nice and flat. But at the same time, y'all, don't be killing your clients. Like, when I'm sewing, like, I don't pull the thread like super duper tight. I pull it nice and taut, nice and tight, but I don't kill them at the same time. Like, anybody that's gotten a sew-in from me, check my resume, ask them. They know, like, oh, seamless sew-ins, they don't hurt, but them things, they last. They last me a long time, but she real light-handed. So that's pretty much it. That's the basics. That's the most important things and the keys to having a seamless sew-in, is that them braids, that foundation, and making sure you tucking those braids under. Making sure you tucking those tracks underneath those braids, and then making sure your fold, like, it lies very flat. So right here, this is what I was talking about. Like, when I'm at the corners, I go under, and then right here when I'm sewing, like, throughout the rest of the head, I just go over. I just continue my usual. So y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and continue this process throughout her entire head. Just make sure those corners lay real flat, and when you at the corner, make sure you tuck it underneath the braid. And that's it, sis. That's the trick. Oh, and one more thing. Ooh, I hope y'all was watching to this point. I almost forgot to tell y'all, the type of thread that you use is also super important. I use nylon thread, but not every nylon thread is good. So I'm going to try to find a link, an Amazon link to post in the description bar underneath this video. But I can say for a fact, like, you can't just walk up in the hair store and get nylon thread and it be good thread. It took me a long time to find the right thread that just make it do what it do. So the thread is very important. With cotton thread, your sewing just won't lay as flat, especially with dealing with virgin hair. Sometimes the wefts can be kind of thick, so you don't want to add any extra thickness by using cotton thread. So that's another important thing. And lastly, I don't go through the wefts when I sew. I go over. I don't go through the wefts. All right, check me out now. That thing looking pretty seamless to me. What y'all think? So I hope that, this technique works for y'all. Let me know. I hope that, I really try to explain it the best to my ability. I really did. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask. But once again, I continue this process throughout her entire head. And stay tuned for the finished look. I'm sorry I keep doing this. So y'all probably see that little piece of net at the top, right? With nets, I don't use them all the time. I do use them at my own discretion. When I have a client that has super thick hair, such as Liz, she didn't really need a net. Jesus Christ. She didn't really need a net. But right at those two, at the corners, if you ever done a sew-in, sometimes those corners can be spacey when it comes to your braids. So I always put like a little piece of net right at the corners. I did that off camera. I'm trying to make this video as short as possible. I already feel like the video long as hell. But I put those pieces of net right there so that I can lay my tracks really close together, and I can also stitch them together Where there is no braid, obviously you can't stitch. And the bigger your stitches, the less flat your sewing will lay. So that net, it allows me to stitch really close and lay those tracks very close together. Oh, and you only want to lay tracks close together, like at the corners, not throughout the entire head. You don't want to pile them on top of each other, but just only at the corners you want the tracks to be really close together. Yes, baby is all done. I wet her hair off camera. She has in Hair Art Us Indian curly. So I went ahead and put product and wet her hair up off camera. But look at how seamless this sewing is and so undetectable. Yes, girl, she was about to knock my camera over. But yes, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I love you all. Thank you for subscribing to my channel and stay tuned for my next video.